Well, that is what I call a bounce-back win for the Colorado Buffaloes in the Rocky Mountain Showdown as they take down their in-state rival, the Colorado State Rams. Your final score tonight, 28-9. Colorado improves to 2-1 on the season. The Rams fall to 1-2. And in the words of Stringer Bell, if you've seen The Wire, I want you to put the word out there. We back up. We back up. The Colorado Buffaloes looking to make some noise. Good all-around game tonight. Shedeur and the offense looked good. The defense looked good. And, as the CU faithful likes to say, it stinks to be a CSU Ram. All right, let's break it all down on tonight's episode of your Locked On Buffs Postcast, live from number 38 in Rhino. Let's get it started, folks.
You are Locked On Buffaloes Postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, Buff faithful? I am your host, Aniello Piro, broadcasting live from number 38 after the Colorado Buffaloes' big-time bounce-back performance against the Colorado State Rams. Your final score, 28-9, and boy, oh boy, did the Buffs look good in this one. You'll love to see it. Plenty to talk about on tonight's show. So make sure to drop your comments. Let me know how you guys are feeling out there. Even the Buff haters, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you're thinking, because I thought Colorado looked much, much better tonight against Colorado State. I was a little bit concerned about how they might respond. Ugly game last week against Nebraska, but they come out tonight and they take care of business in a huge way and really just take the game to Colorado State. I thought it was a thorough game, a thorough performance for Colorado. So we'll have to see what next week holds. But for now, it is a victory show as the Colorado Buffaloes respond against the Colorado State Rams. And once again, folks, I'm your host, Aniello Piro. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to tonight's Locked On Buffs Postcast. And today's installment of your Locked On Buffs Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Only a couple of weeks left, folks. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. But where shall we start tonight? We could go with the Travis Hunter show. We could go with the Shedeur Sanders show. We could go with the improved defense. We can go with Colorado State looking like the moment was too big for them. Why don't we kind of just sum it all up? And I think the biggest thing for me tonight is how Colorado came to play. And I know that first quarter, maybe looking a little bit dicey, right? 3 and out. Colorado failed to score in that first quarter, but they do a fantastic job of responding. 14 points in the second, a touchdown in the third, a touchdown in the fourth. At one point, 21 unanswered points. It actually might be 28 unanswered points before Colorado State ends up driving down the field there for a late touchdown. But folks, this game, frankly, was never really close. After the first quarter, Colorado really established their rhythm on offense. I was sitting here with my guy, Danny Bailey, and some of the other fine folks out here at number 38, and we're kind of scratching our heads like, what is going on with this offense? I mean, I never thought the offense would be a point of contention for the Colorado Buffaloes, but they figured it out. It just took them a little bit of time to get their feet wet and understand what Colorado State was trying to do. And I mean, there's just no other way to say it, folks. The Colorado offense was absolutely on point. There was a couple of things that I didn't like, in particular, why they keep just trying to run up the score at the end of the game. You made your point. Like I said, this game was over and done with, essentially from the second quarter on. So we'll have to see if Colorado tries to make those adjustments here moving forward. But at the end of the day, looks like pretty clean bill of health for the big guys. Travis Hunter a little banged up there at one point, but he comes through and delivers just a massive performance today. And let's start with Travis, guys. This guy is the best player in college football. And I know, after the sour loss last week against Nebraska, where the offense was just awful and they were just kind of kept in check, Travis did some stuff on defense. Whichever way you slice it. Like if Travis Hunter's playing on Georgia or playing on Bama or one of these huge teams that's legitimately contending for a college football championship this year, I think the conversation would be a lot different. The fact that Travis Hunter is already being talked about as potentially the best player in college football on Colorado, I think just speaks volumes to his versatility. I mean, he is just such an incredible player, and tonight he proved that. I mean, from the receiving perception, he was the Buffs' leading receiver, 13 receptions for 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that in and of itself is already impressive. 2 touchdowns, rivalry game, off a down game, and you know, at the same token, he comes back there on defense and generates an interception in this one. He had 5 total targets tonight. And just, I mean, there's just not enough good things that you could say about Travis Hunter. He has the interception. He has the 2 touchdowns. He barely misses any plays. And he comes through for Colorado tonight, both on offense and defense, which is not a surprise whatsoever. And I don't know if you guys caught this on the during the game on the broadcast. There's a lot of conversation about Travis and well, how do you make sure that he's going to be good for the whole season? Remember, last year in the Rocky Mountain Showdown, which was week 3, he got knocked out of the season for 3 weeks, due to a dirty hit from a Colorado State Ram player in the game last year. And, there's always been some questions about Travis Hunter's health. Can he stay healthy? And they made a good point of that on the game here tonight, as he actually has 3 consecutive days off leading up to game day. So he'll probably be off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then he'll be back in action the rest of the week, getting ready for next week's game against Baylor. But he looked spry tonight on the long run there at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, which set up the final score of the game for Colorado State. I mean, the running back for Colorado State had about 5 yards on him, and Travis Hunter's, trailing behind him, trying to knock the ball out to cause a fumble. He doesn't do that, but the speed and just the aura of Travis Hunter is on display each and every Saturday, and it will be the case each and every Sunday when he is inevitably probably a top 5 pick. I don't know how at this point, as long as he stays healthy, I don't know how he's not going to be the number 1 overall pick, to be honest with you guys. He is that guy. He is that good. So loved what I saw from Travis Hunter tonight. Loved what I saw from the offense tonight. Let's see. LeJontay Wester also had a big night tonight for the Buffs. 5 receptions for 80 yards. An average of 16 yards per reception. He also had 2 touchdowns, including that big-time 34-yard reception in the middle of the game as well. Will Shepard had 7 receptions for 61 yards receiving. I mean, everybody got involved tonight. Jimmy Horn Jr., who's arguably probably the second-best receiver on the team for Colorado, he was, I don't want to say held in check tonight, but, when you have this much talent, everybody's going to get some love. Everybody's going to get an opportunity. And it's crazy. Like, the guy that I've always been high on is Omarion Miller. He had 2-3 touchdowns last year against, it was USC or Nebraska. I'm forgetting off the top of my head which game it was. Not even on the stat sheet tonight. I mean, there is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment of riches for Colorado at those skill positions. First and foremost, led by Travis Hunter, but big-time game for LeJontay Wester tonight. Again, 5 for 80. Will Shepard, 7 for 61. Jimmy Horn Jr., 4 for 22. And then a bunch of other guys had, single catches and whatnot. Everybody getting involved tonight for the Colorado Buffaloes. I loved the approach tonight as well from offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur. I know the game started a little bit slow for them in the first quarter, but for the first time this season, we saw Colorado and that offense led by Shedeur and Shurmur attempting to establish the run. And on paper, nobody really broke out for Colorado in the run department tonight. Michael Welch was your leading rusher for CU, 9 carries for 65 yards. Isaiah Augustave, 6 carries for 31 yards. Charlie Alfadal, 2 carries for 16 yards. That's it from the run department from Colorado. But here's the thing. While the numbers don't jump off the page and make you think they've got a legitimate running back, they've got a legitimate running game. What it did tonight, though, is helped open up the game for Shedeur Sanders and this Colorado offense, which I think is just the key here moving forward, especially now that they're going to get started in Big 12 conference play, which, as we all know, is a much different beast. All due respect to Colorado State, all due respect to North Dakota State and Nebraska. Nebraska is probably the one team that resembles the closest thing that Colorado is going to probably see here the rest of the way from a defensive perspective. But I just thought the forcing of the issue to make a concerted effort to try to establish the run game tonight, I thought that really, really helped Colorado open up this game overall on offense. Shedeur Sanders dropped back to pass 49 times. Seems like a lot of passing attempts, but we know that's just how they roll. That's what Colorado does. That's what they're going to continue to do, even when they're up big time at the end of the game. Instead of running out the clock, they're going to keep throwing the ball. Why? I don't really know. I'd like to see them clean it up, so that way you don't risk any injury. The game was over at that point, but when it's all said and done, folks, this offense is legit, and I thought the defense also did a great job tonight of responding and setting the tone tonight, not allowing this Colorado State offense to strike any to kick itself into gear tonight, which I think was huge. This game was all Colorado. Once they hit their groove there in the second quarter, Colorado State did not stand a chance. But all right, let's hit our first break. When we come back, we'll continue along with the conversation. Let's talk about that Colorado defense. I thought they were phenomenal tonight, and we'll talk about how they were able to generate some pressure. CSU Rams quarterback Braden Nicolosi was awful tonight. There's really no other way to slice it. Run game was fine for them. Nobody really popped off. Torrey Horton was non-existent in this game. I know he was banged up with an injury, but I thought Colorado's defense did a great job of limiting the explosive plays and just really any big-time plays in general for the Rams. So we'll hit a quick break, come back, and do just that. Make sure to drop some comments. I see some of you guys watching live. Let me know what you guys think. How you feeling about this game? Is Colorado legit? Is it time to put the watch back up? Or is this just a flash in the pan because maybe CSU isn't very good? Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you feel. And we'll talk about it when we come back right here on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Stick with us, folks. What a scene. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at Robinhood. And you're going to want to listen up. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 5% APY on uninvested cash. Receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms they do apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. And guys, be sure to check them out. Robinhood Gold. Get involved with them. Make sure to check them out and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Hope everybody is doing well out there. I am your host, Aniello Piro. We are breaking down the game tonight live from number 38 in Rhino. And if any of you guys are living in the Denver metro area, be sure to come on out. We're going to be here each and every Colorado Buffaloes game. We're doing giveaways with Mile High Sports, and we had an absolutely jam-packed crowd out here tonight. We had some CU fans. We had some CSU fans. Some of the CSU fans weren't going home very happy tonight, but it was a majority of CU fans, and it was an electric atmosphere. So make sure to come on out to number 38 in Rhino for all of the upcoming Colorado Buffalo games the rest of the way this season. We got a comment from my guy, Danny Bailey. Sco Buffs with the Buffs emoji. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Drop your comments. Let me know what you think. Big-time game, big-time performance, bounce-back spot for Colorado. And I know I got to talk about FanDuel here in a little bit later on in the program. If you took the -7, you cashed out nicely tonight with Colorado, as that was, I don't want to say sweat-free, but that's about as good as it gets, as simple as it gets for Colorado. So we'll see how they respond next week. But I talked about it to end the first segment. Let's talk about this Colorado defense tonight, because Colorado State was just really unable to establish any sort of momentum, really unable to generate anything positive on the offensive side of the ball tonight. Braden Nicolosi dropped back to pass tonight 39 times for only 22 completions, 209 yards passing for an average of 5.4 yards per reception. No touchdowns. That's a big deal for CSU. And as I mentioned, they just weren't able to get anything going. Nicolosi, that is, with no touchdowns. He also threw 2 interceptions. Fumbles were a big problem. And that was one of the things that I was trying to keep my eye on throughout this game is how was Colorado going to try to rush the passer? Ugh, tongue twister there. How was Colorado going to rush the passer? That's what I was trying to say. Were they going to allow Raiden Fowler-Nicolosi to get comfortable? And remember, Nicolosi, along with Rams standout wide receiver Torrey Horton, were chirping a little bit. I believe that clip was from the offseason, and they were talking about, we'll see how far Instagram likes get this team. Hey, man, Instagram likes are going to do a lot for the brand. I don't know what other college program has guys doing commercials for United Airlines and all these other big brands. You got Coach Prime and the family doing KFC commercials. Look, I understand why people want to hate on Coach Prime and the social media tags on the back of the warm-up jerseys and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I really do. But at the end of the day, they have the talent to compete. Am I trying to say that Colorado's going to go out there now and run the table and compete for a national championship? We can pump the brakes on that a little bit. My heart wants that to happen, but my brain tells me, look, that's probably not going to happen. But I said this going back to the offseason. I'll say it now. This season, obviously you want to try to compete for a championship. But after going 4-8 last year, that was the appetizer. Last year was Coach Prime, Shedeur, Travis, Shiloh, who I know is hurt right now. That was about getting your feet wet. This season is about legitimizing yourselves. And if you're going to be close to a double-digit win team, if you could be an 8-win team, I don't care what the haters say. Their over-under total was what, 3.5? 3.5, I believe it was, 4.5. And so, look, they've already got 2 games under their belt. The schedule is going to get much more difficult as they move forward. But I think in tonight's game for the Rocky Mountain Showdown, this Colorado team shows you what they can do. They show you that nastiness they can play with. And I think when you look at this matchup tonight, I talked about it on the pregame show, the Mile High Sports pregame show live from number 38. One of the things that I mentioned was is how the Colorado defense needs to bring the pressure to Colorado State. And I think that was a big thing here, as I mentioned, Colorado State never seemed to get into any sort of groove. I mean, let's take a look at the production. As I mentioned, Raiden Fowler-Nicolosi, 22 for 39, 209 passing yards, 5.4 yards on average, and 2 interceptions. I mean, the rushing game was virtually non-existent, nothing big time. Avery Morrow had 3 carries for 67 yards. Justin Marshall had 14 carries for 54 yards, so not exactly efficient for Justin Marshall. I mean, that's really it. I mean, the receiving department, the biggest receiver tonight for Colorado State was Jamari Pearson, who had 7 receptions for 51 yards. I mean, nobody even cracked 75 yards receiving tonight for the Colorado State Rams here. So, I just loved how Colorado really set the tone tonight defensively. DJ McKinney was phenomenal tonight for the Buffs. He had four tackles tonight. Nakai Hill-Green had 6 tackles tonight total, 4 solos. Levante Bentley, who's been a big part of this Buffs team this season, 5 total tackles, 4 of them solo. Cameron Silman-Craig, 5 tackles, 3 solo, right? And so it was a nice mix of guys. I like that as well, right? Because on offense, sometimes it can get a little one-dimensional. Sometimes it could be throw the ball up to Travis Hunter and see what happens, which has worked for the most part for Colorado. But I thought tonight, both on offense and defense, you saw a number of different guys, a number of different faces just getting the job done tonight. And we'll have to see if that can continue on as we move forward. But once again, guys, let me know in the comments, how are you guys feeling about this game here tonight as Colorado takes down the Rams 28-9? And one of the other talking points that I want to hit on here on tonight's Locked On Buffs postcast is I thought that Colorado, I was a little suspect, right? Because when you get kind of shut down as they did last week against Nebraska in a very hostile environment, that can knock you down a little bit. And Coach Prime had that saying in his post-game press conference last week. He was quoted saying, everybody wants to be him until it's time to be him. And I took that to heart, and I'm sure the players did. I mean, clearly the players did as well when you see how they respond here tonight with just coming out ready to play from the jump once they got settled in. And look, I don't want to discount this game too much. I know it is Colorado State. I know that it's a bit up and down in regards to the talent level, but at the end of the day, you have to play who's on your schedule. And this was a hostile environment tonight. I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, this game was not available to be purchased as a single game ticket for the Showdown. I believe that this game was included in the season ticket packages. So I would say, Danny, what would you say? 80-20%, 80-20 split tonight, CSU fans to Rams fans? Got my super producer, Danny Bailey, here. You want to give him a thumbs up? Danny's feeling good. We're all feeling good here. Thank you to my boy Danny Bailey for helping me get set up out here. But, from what I saw, it looked like an 80-20 split in regards to CSU fans versus CU fans. It's also the largest attended game in the history of Canvas Stadium. That's the Coach Prime effect. I know that the Ram fan doesn't want to hear that. You're not drawing 40,000 fans and setting a record for attendance if you're not playing Coach Prime in Colorado. Heck, Alabama can come in here, and I don't think you're putting up those attendance numbers. This is a real deal in-state rivalry. And remember, the other thing that I was wondering about is last year's game was pretty close, right? Triple overtime. Colorado State held their own. It was looking a little dicey there for a minute for the Buffs. This year's version of the showdown was completely different. It was all Buffs, all game, with a lot of the same players for CSU, a little bit of roster turnover for the Buffs, but at the end of the day, it did not matter as they take care of business tonight. The Buffs winning 28-9. All right, let's hit our final break. When we come back, we'll continue along with the conversation. Drop some comments, folks. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Is Colorado legit? Is this the start of something special? Can Colorado carry momentum over next week against Baylor? Or is CSU just that bad? Let me know. We'll talk about it all when we come back right here on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Back in just a few minutes, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at eBay Motors, because passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions, they do apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. And guys, I'm using the first car that I've ever had, the same car that I've had since high school. If anything goes wrong, thankfully nothing's gone wrong as well. Some minor stuff here or there, but if anything that requires me to get a new part, whatever it might be, I'm going to eBay Motors. Millions of parts for your MVP. Win every time with parts that fit your ride. You cannot go wrong with our friends over at eBay Motors. Make sure to check them out. Let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you, and keep that ride or die alive, folks. Cars are expensive these days. Make sure to keep your car alive with eBay Motors. Ooh, all right. And let me also tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. And guess what? You can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's number one sportsbook. And guys, I'm an active FanDuel user. I've got a number of bets in for tomorrow's Sunday slate. And, the Broncos tomorrow taking on the Steelers' first home game, Bo Nix's home debut. Broncos are actually home underdogs in that game tomorrow. 2.5-point home underdogs. I think Denver can win this game. So I'm getting a little plus money on that money line. I'm taking a look that way. And our friends over at FanDuel are just the best. I was just in New Jersey over the week, and here's just a real deal testimonial as a customer of FanDuel. I opened up my app, and I noticed that when you place a bet in a different state, it will tell you that. It'll say you bet in New Jersey versus Colorado. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, if I bet it in New Jersey, will it just be credited to my normal FanDuel account? Well, I literally clicked support. I chatted with a real person, and within about 2 minutes, I got the clarification and the answers I needed. I'm a massive fan of FanDuel. I know you will be too, and the promotions are absolutely fantastic. Be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel. NFL season is here. Broncos are home dogs tomorrow. Make sure to get your action down with our friends over at FanDuel. Be sure to check them out online, FanDuel.com/LockedOn. One more time, guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. What are you waiting for? Check out our friends over at FanDuel. Let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you, and good luck on your wagers this football season. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffs postcast. I'm your host with the most, Aniello Piro. Hope everybody is hanging loose out there as the Colorado Buffaloes come back to win, or I shouldn't say come back, excuse me. The Buffaloes win tonight in pretty thorough fashion, taking down the CSU Rams 28-9. This was an uncompetitive game tonight from CSU. I mean, the middle two quarters, the second and third quarters, Colorado State held out of the end zone before a late touchdown there in the fourth. Never really made it feel like a game, but I guess a little bit of life, a little bit of a pulse, I would say, from Colorado State. But this Colorado team came to play today, and you love to see it. And one more time, folks, make sure to come on out to number 38 in Rhino. If you're located in the Denver metro area, we'll be doing our live pregame shows as well as your Locked On Buffs postcast here from number 38. We're up on the stage right now. We had a fantastic crowd tonight. So if you're looking to mingle, if you're looking to watch some college football, come on out to number 38. It is the place to be. But all right, as we get ready to wrap up the show here, one thing that I did not have an opportunity, at least I don't think I mentioned it yet. How about the protection tonight for Shedeur Sanders? And look, I know that the talent level is much, much different for Colorado State versus Nebraska. Nebraska's a good team, guys. I know that the Colorado faithful don't want to hear that. Matt Rule in year two, Dylan Raiola, great quarterback. Nebraska's a good team. I expected Colorado to win this game and win it thoroughly tonight. But I thought the protection that Shedeur Sanders had tonight was phenomenal. And you see that when you give Shedeur Sanders enough time to drop back to pass, scan the field, progression 1, progression 2, find the open man. I mean, he is about as deadly as any quarterback is in college football right now. His accuracy's on point. Did have a couple of high throws, but when you have the wide receiver room that you have with 4 guys that could probably be legitimate number 1 receivers on numerous college football programs across the country, you're in good hands. And again, I can't stress this enough. I know that the numbers did not pop off the screen tonight from the run department, but the fact that Colorado made a concerted effort to establish the run made Colorado State think about the run. Against North Dakota State, the run was borderline non-existent. Against Nebraska, it was non-existent, but Colorado was also down early, so they had to abandon it. A much more balanced approach, a much more balanced attack tonight from Pat Shurmur in this Colorado offense. And I think that really just helped open things up. Again, nothing eye-popping. Michael Welch was your leading rusher today for Colorado. He had 9 carries for 65 yards, his longest being a 25-yard burst. Isaiah Augustave, 6 carries for 31. Charlie Alfredall, 2 for 16. So nothing major in the run department, but the little bit of production that they did, and even, when they would get 1-2 yards, right, it just forced Colorado State to protect and defend the run, which I think was critical in helping opening up this passing game. But again, I just thought the offensive line was solid tonight. Couple of penalties that you want to see Colorado clean up, but, nothing too crazy. They were solid on third down efficiency tonight, converting nearly 50% of the time, 5 for 11 on third down. They only went for it one time on fourth. They did not get it, but 419 total yards of offense tonight, 310 of which came through the air. I mean, what more is there to say, guys? I mean, 36 for 49 in the passing department. They did have 12 penalties, so you need to see them clear that up. But time of possession was also equal, which I think also speaks to the resiliency of this Buffs defense. There was a couple of long, sustained drives for this Rams offense, but Colorado played good bend, don't break defense. Put Rams quarterback Braden Fowler-Nicolosi into some uncomfortable positions, throws a couple of critical interceptions. If Nicolosi doesn't throw those interceptions, if those interceptions result in scoring drives for Colorado State, there's a good chance that this game ends up much differently. That was not the case here tonight, as timely turnovers for Colorado. Travis Hunter had an interception, as we mentioned, and just overall, Colorado State was unable to set into a groove. Preston Hodge was the other person who generated the interception for Colorado, and that's essentially all she wrote. So it's a big-time bounce-back performance for Colorado, 28-9, your final score. And now, folks, we'll see. You got Baylor coming up next week, a reintroduction for Colorado into the Big 12 at home, big-time matchup. I think next week we'll have an idea of just how dangerous this Buffs team can be. North Dakota State, respectable opponent. Nebraska's good. Awful performance for Colorado. Colorado State, not that good. They're not very good. They're not good. But you got to play who's on your schedule, and Colorado took care of business tonight. So real gut check time next week between Colorado and Baylor. We'll see how that one shakes out. But your final score tonight, 28-9, Colorado taking down the Rams in the Rocky Mountain Showdown. That's going to do it for me, folks. Live from number 38. You can follow me on social at Media by AP. Thank you guys so much for tapping in, and we'll talk to you guys next week on your Locked On Buffs postcast. Good win, good game. Talk to you guys later.